On April 2022, the Crimson Isles update was finally released. With it came new items, and among them was an armor set that was going to completely destroy the game.
Jasper, Tuba's recent came to an end. Be the best of this layer. Really?
When the Crimson Isles update first came out, the admins also released a new boss called Kudra that could drop 4 different armor sets for each of the 4 classes. They added Aurora for Mage, Terror for Archer, Fervor to be laughed at, and Crimson for Melee. Now all of them came with abilities that were either useless or bugged. But Crimson Armor had an ability that basically gave you infinite attack speed. Now how does this even work? Well, in most games including Minecraft, you can't just keep dealing damage to something. After every hit, the mob gains temporary invincibility for about half a second. This period of invincibility is called an invincibility frame. In most games, iframes are added to keep a sense of balance. Playing a game with 0 iframes is like playing combo duels, but you can't even hit your opponent. Never mind. Now in Skyblock, things like attack speed help reduce these iframes. Like with 82% attack speed, the iframe goes from half a second to a quarter of a second. Now what does that have to do with Crimson Armor? Well, Crimson Armor has an ability called Dominus that when triggered gives you extra melee range and used to ignore any iframes, meaning players were steamrolling through anything they came across. Bosses gone, voidglooms gone, autoclicker on. But a few days later, the admins patched it, and Crimson Armor never became a problem. A few days later, some players noticed something. Crimson Armor could double hit at max stacks, meaning all you needed was a 10 kill combo and you'd be able to double your damage, which was a neat little feature or a bug nobody really knew. So naturally, some nons started using it and complained. Now everything was going well until people discovered a serious bug with Crimson Armor. It could double your kills. Let's say you're farming Sorrows with a max Dominus stack and manage to one-tap them. Now the double hit can't activate in this case, as the mob is already dead. Right? Wrong. If the opportunity doesn't exist, create it. If the red name doesn't exist, beg for it. So please help me hit 30k before 2024, so that I can flex on my friends with actual jobs. It also motivates me to make better content. If the opportunity doesn't exist, create it. If the mob doesn't exist, reincarnate it. Then make sure it doesn't exist. Meaning each kill was actually worth 2 kills. This bug was later patched, and Crimson Armor never became a problem, and a few months later Crimson became the most broken armor set for Slayers. Now the admins had recently revamped Kudra, which was now bigger, more profitable, and more enjoyable. In that update, they also added new attributes, but the one we'll be talking about is the Veteran attribute. Usable after completing the 3rd Kudra tier, Veteran gives you combat wisdom, meaning you gain more combat XP. Now some players realized that with enough Veteran levels, we could do everyone's favorite thing during Derpy. We could not play a rev trade. Now while you could do this with any armor set, some players did this while using Crimson, so it still counts. So players were going ham with rev trading, making millions. And the admins made revs untradeable, and Crimson Armor was never a problem. And then a few months later, someone discovered a massive oversight by the admins. You could actually gain Dominus stacks with Mage, and at max stacks, the swipe ability would work, meaning Crimson, which was supposed to be the best melee set, allowed you to deal more damage compared to an actual mage set like Aurora. Now this doesn't have a lot of uses owing to the low mana, but it's a really good armor set for low tier Kudra and flares. And at the time of recording, this bug is yet to be patched. A few months later, we finally saw it. The infinite attack speed. It was back. Some players had found a huge flaw with the Crimson Armor patch. You could still remove iframes, but the condition was the mob wasn't allowed to take any damage. Now that sounds stupid, right? You can deal tens of millions in damage, but the mob doesn't even take damage. So what's the point? Well, what if you could convert the ghost damage into real damage? And turns out you could. Using items like the tactical insertion and the soul's rebound, players were insta-killing voidglooms, as both of them had abilities that allowed you to deal delayed damage. But later this bug was patched, and Crimson Armor never became a problem.